Jesus said to his apostles, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace upon earth. I have come to bring no peace but this word. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and one's enemy will be those of his household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. Whoever receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever receives a righteous man because he is righteous will receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones to drink because he is a disciple, amen, I say to you, he will surely not lose his reward." When Jesus finished giving these commands to his 12 disciples, he went away from that place to teach and to preach in their towns the gospel of the Lord. There are fragments of the gospel that hit you in a particularly strong way. How can Jesus say that one who loves his son, his daughter, more than him is not worthy of him? Only God can say that. God can. That means that Jesus is declaring his divinity without words of self-complacency. He's not saying, quote, "I am God," end quote. He is. He is God. But he's saying it in another way. Only God has the right to ask us to be in the first place in our lives. The Jews knew this very well. The first commandment was, "You shall love God above all things." And they also included above all people. But this fragment being important, the previous one is even more complex, because it says that he came to bring swords, that he has not come to bring peace, and that from now on they will make war on us in our own house. And that is why we will have to choose between following him or placing our loved ones. We are already living in a time of persecution. Slowly but surely, what is already called the post-Christian era is settling. It was Benedict XVI who typified it in this way. With his great wisdom, it is settling. It is not a question of one day, but it is settling. For the post-Christian era brings with it has been elaborate, the post-Christian creed. Little by little, they are adding articles of faith to this post-Christian creed. Abortion is a right. Euthanasia is to be considered on the same level as any medicine given to a person who suffers, whichever his sufferings may be. Gender ideology becomes a law against which no one can oppose, without paying the consequences. Little by little, they are adding articles to this new creed, a creed that is not offered, but it is imposed, a creed that does not accept dissent, a creed that those who do not accept it are persecuted. This is what Jesus is referring to, and this problem reaches not only the workplace, society, but the family himself. Laws are already being passed that will allow children to denounce their own parents if they dare to say that their behavior is not correct nor ethical, or even that their behavior goes against the laws of nature. In Spain, a law has already been passed by which, at the age of 12, a boy or a girl can change her sex. If the parent opposes, then the boy or the girl will go to court, will denounce his or her parents, and it will be the judge who will decide whether or not he or she has the right to change sex. That is to say, children are already going to denounce their parents from the age of 12. I am not sure if it is at 14 or 16, and the parents can no longer oppose. For a minor to be able to go to excursion with the school, a signed parental permission is required. For a minor to change sex, receiving all kind of hormones, or with surgeries, or simply saying that she is of another sex, parents cannot oppose, and if they oppose, they will go to jail, or they can be denounced, and the judge will decide what to do. We are in a post-Christian society, with a post-Christian creed that is imposed. We don't realize it, but we are already under persecution. Little by little, they are closing the saints around us until they decide to give us the final blow. What do we have to do? First, we must realize the seriousness of this moment. This is not a joke. Our enemies knows what they are looking for, and they are executing it without pause. And then, it seems to me essential to move to a kind of clandestinity without renouncing public life, but at the same time to elaborate a kind of clandestinity in which we can survive when this circle around us closes. Something complementary to what we already have. But when we see the churches are being closed and put up for sale every day, and the restructuring of parishes in most dioceses of the West implies the closure of many parishes, do we don't have eyes to see what is happening? When we see that there are no vocations and that it will be impossible in a short term to care for a significant numbers of Catholics, don't we realize what is happening and what is going to happen? We have to organize ourselves differently. Small communities. They know each other. They love each other. And if they cannot be face to face, fine. And if not, online. Small communities that can be inserted in parishes or not. They can be from the same locality and meet in the house, as the primitive Christians did. Or they can meet using the internet and be from different cities or countries. Small communities where Catholics are given spirituality and formation. We have to assume that for a long time, the first Christians lived almost 300 years in hiding. For a long time, we are going to live like them in hiding. The same thing the Catholics are doing now. For example, in China, those who want to be faithful are in hiding. Don't we have eyes to see what is happening? Where are they going? Where are they leading us? Are we going to be led like sheep to the slaughter, who do not even try to defend themselves? And I don't mean, of course, any violence, nothing to do with us, but I mean intelligence, simple as doves, cunning as snakes, the intelligence to organize ourselves, to make these small communities, I repeat, communities where there is spirituality and where there is formation. This is a voice of alarm that I have been given for a long now, having the impression, as St. John, I am preaching in the desert. When I offer, for example, the communities of Franciscans of Mary for lately, the schools of gratitude, which are already very many, which are in many countries, and where people from different countries or sometimes from different cities, either in person or online. I'm preparing the future that is already here, the most immediate future. Offer spirituality, offer formation, so that if tomorrow they close the church, you will lose a lot. You are going to lose even the most important things, the Eucharist, the sacraments, but you are not going to lose everything. Christians survived in Japan. Until Europe, missionaries arrived later, when Japan opened up to the world, and they survived in hiding. And they are surviving today in China in hiding. But for that, we need to realize the problem and say, I have to do something for me. Not for me, but for each one of us. I have to do something for myself, for my children. I have to be prepared, to be trained. How am I going to respond then when they say to me, it is that the same praise with children have been discovered in Canada? Is there scandals in the church? How am I going to respond? It will be your fault, really, your fault, for your laziness, for your illness. It will be your fault that you end up losing your faith. For you feel alone, that you cannot carry your daily cross, and that you do not transmit the faith to your children. What kind of faith are you going to transmit if you are lazy? Of course, the offer I make of online gratitude schools is not the only option. Thank God. But it is an option. Spirituality, gratitude, and imitation of Our Lady, formation. Being in a small group that, without anyone knowing it, each one meets at the home. This is what I offer. This is very easy. You just have to call me. It is totally free. Free. You just need to have internet. All you have to do is write to me. Send me an email. I sign you as a group. You start immediately. But it supposes a minimum of work. Oh, how hard it is. 1 hour a week. Oh, it is so hard. Yes. It will be even harder to find that the churches are closed, with no priest, and that you have no one whom to share the little faith you have left. Or it is harder not to have been able to transmit the faith to your children or to your grandchildren, and that they those paths to which you are leading them, and then to dedicate the rest of your life, and I do not, if it's also eternity, to lamenting how badly you have done it. Jesus has come to save us, but not to save us for free. That is, that we don't understand. He has come to save us, but He needs and wants our cooperation, a little effort, a little sacrifice, and not they take everything home and you don't have to bother. Let us say that you don't have to go to work. They bring you food home, and even food is cooked because your true desire is to live eternally sitting on a sofa. That really is not the solution, but for those surely few who are willing to get off the couch, to get out of bed. There is a solution. Let us ask the Lord to put fire in our hearts, to love Him, and to make Him beloved, because He is our salvation. Amen.